Chapter 48. Aarya rushed through the corridors, desperate to reach Arnav before he disappeared into his duties. She needed to speak to him. In private. To hold his hands, to kiss him, to thank him for everything he had done, and for never taking credit for it. But when she reached the east wing, Arnav was already at the entrance of the council chamber. He saw her and gestured to the guards to let her through. "What is it?" he asked, his voice softening instantly. "Are you all right?" Aarya was slightly out of breath. "I wanted to speak with you, in private." Arnav glanced toward the chamber doors. "Not now," he said gently. "Can we talk later?" It wasn't really a question. Aarya understood. He would not have asked her to wait, unless he truly had no choice. She nodded and turned back. Time moved slowly after that. Every minute stretched. Arnav didn't come out for lunch. The royal kitchen was instructed to send light refreshments later in the day. Aarya finished her chores, then redid them, then tried reorganizing Arnav's wardrobe, only to stop halfway. Everything in there smelled like him, and somehow that made it worse. The last few days, they had barely found a moment alone. Mihir had been everywhere, and now that he was gone, Kabir had taken over. Aarya exhaled sharply. For the first time, she found herself resenting it. The weight of Arnav's responsibilities, his importance, the constant demands on him. She wished, just for a moment, that they were ordinary. Just two people, with time that belonged only to them. The west wing was silent. Aarya stepped out into the corridor when she heard movement. Hurried footsteps, distant voices. Servants were rushing toward the training grounds. "What's going on?" she asked the guards stationed outside the west wing. They hesitated. "Can you tell me, please?" Aarya insisted. One of them finally answered. "His Highness is going for a horse ride." "A horse ride? But I thought he had council meetings." Aarya frowned. "His Highness is not going alone. This ride is being arranged for a special guest." The voice came from behind. Mrs. Sharma stood there. "What do you mean?" Arya's tone sharpened, demanding an answer. Mrs. Sharma looked at her almost pityingly. "You don't know anything, do you?" Before Aarya could respond, Mrs. Sharma took her by the hand and led her inside. "What is it?" Aarya pressed. "Tell me," Mrs. Sharma sighed. "Princess Nidhi has arrived, along with her father. The king of Meruvatsa." Aarya stiffened slightly. "Do you know where Meruvatsa lies?" "Yes," Aarya replied. "To the south," Mrs. Sharma nodded. "Now that the northern territories are firmly under Matsya's control, it is only natural for His Highness to consider expansion toward the south." She continued, lowering her voice. "The king of Meruvatsa is no fool. He must have sensed it. Before matters turn unfavorable, he seeks an alliance. This visit is to negotiate terms," Mrs. Sharma went on. "And if the rumors are true?" "Then what?" Aarya pressed. "The king wishes to see Princess Nidhi as the future queen of Matsya. If the agreement is finalized, a marriage proposal will follow," Mrs. Sharma added. "Meruvatsa gains strength in the north, and Matsya gains access to the south without prolonged warfare." Mrs. Sharma studied Aarya for a moment, then continued. "Ruling the southern territories without their support would be difficult. The terrain, the climate, the kind of wars they fight. Matsya does not have that advantage. This alliance changes that." She folded her hands. "Everyone is calling it a perfect arrangement." Silence lingered. When Mrs. Sharma looked up again, she caught it, that flicker of pain in Aarya's eyes. Unspoken. "I know this must be difficult, dear," she said, her tone softening just slightly. "These matters are decided by bloodlines. As cruel as it sounds, one must have royal blood to be called a queen." She placed a hand on Aarya's shoulder. "That's why I was telling you to protect your heart. Take care of yourself, dear," and then she left. Aarya stood there, speechless. Chapter 49. Aarya was furious, not because Mrs. Sharma assumed she was unfit to be a queen, But because Arnav had kept her in the dark, his chambers suddenly felt smaller, tighter. She began pacing from his desk to his bed, and back again. What does he think of himself? He has conquered many kingdoms. People may soon call him an emperor. That does not give him the right to deceive me. Her breath grew uneven. If this alliance is so profitable, why wait at all? Why not just marry that princess this instant? Is that why he didn't spare a moment for me this morning? He saw me, he knew I needed him, and he still chose to make me wait. Does he not like me anymore? Is it because I've been holding back, keeping my distance? Aarya's thoughts spiraled faster. She pressed her fingers into her hair, trying to steady herself. She couldn't stay here, not in his space, not surrounded by him. She walked out without thinking. When she stopped, she was standing outside the library. Aarya stepped in and sank into a chair. The evening breeze drifted in through the windows, cool and familiar. Usually, it calmed her. Not today, because the ugly thoughts haunted her. What place do I truly hold beside Arnav? The question came quietly, unanswered. We've never discussed about it. To be fair, Aarya had never asked. Arnav had never spoken of the future either. Never once mentioned marriage. Not even after knowing who she truly was. Why? The thought lingered, uncomfortable. Am I just temporary? A secret. A dirty secret. Something kept hidden, only wanted behind closed doors. Just like everyone believed, Aarya swallowed. She climbed onto a wooden ladder and began rearranging books on the higher shelves. Anything to distract herself, anything to quiet her mind. It didn't work. Arnav never hides anything from Kabir, she thought. And yet, in front of him, I am still just an attendant. Kabir never questions it, never challenges it. And Avantika. She teases me, but never directly. Because Arnav has never acknowledged our relationship. To anyone. And then it hit her, hard. I love him. The realization left her breathless. I can't live without him. Regret flooded in. I should have married him when I had the chance. What if he leaves me now? What if he marries someone else? The image formed instantly, a faceless princess, riding beside him. Laughing, Arya's vision blurred with tears. Before she could steady herself, strong arms wrapped around her waist, lifting her off the ladder, pulling her back. It was Arnav. He held her close, burying his face in her hair. A quiet inhale. Oh, I missed this, he murmured softly. You. Us. Aarya stood still, completely still, her hands at her sides. Unmoving. Chapter 50. When Aarya didn't hug him back, Arnav pulled away slightly. He looked at her face. She avoided his gaze. What happened? He asked softly, cupping her cheeks, gently forcing her to look at him. How was the horse ride? Aarya asked. Tears rolled down her cheeks. Arnav wiped them instantly. Why are you crying, my love? Don't change the topic, Arnav. Answer me. How was the horse ride? It was fine. Why do you ask? His confusion was evident. Just fine. I'm sure the other party must have enjoyed it. Seemed like it, Arnav replied, still trying to understand where this was going. So where did you take them? The valley, the sunset point we visited, or the lake? No, why would the king of Meru Vatsa be interested in any of those places? We were just riding along the castle's perimeter. Arnav frowned, stepping closer. Aarya, look at me. Why are you interrogating me? Did you show them the castle? Aarya continued quietly. Did they not wish to see the West Wing, or did you avoid bringing them here because of me? Because of you, Arnav exhaled. Aarya, please, no more riddles. He guided her to sit on the desk and stood between her knees, his hand resting lightly at her waist, tracing slow circles. Why did you skip the West Wing? Afraid you'll get caught. Aarya pushed him away. Caught? His voice rose slightly. You're not making any sense. Of course I'm not, she snapped. Nothing I say is going to make sense anymore. Do me a favor. Why don't you ask her to explain it to you? Her, Arnav forced himself to stay calm. Ask who? Your lovely princess. Your queen-to-be. The words spilled out in one breath. Arnav stared at her. What are you talking about? He said, exhaling. You've completely misunderstood the situation. Don't you dare lie to me, Aarya cried. I know everything. I'm not a fool. I'm not lying, Arnav said firmly, placing her hand on his chest where his heart would be. I swear. Now can we talk like adults? Aarya said nothing. Are you talking about our guests? Arnav continued carefully. The king of Merovatsa and his daughter, Princess Needhi. They're here as dignitaries. I had to meet them. To negotiate terms. Terms of your marriage agreement. Aarya shot back immediately. What? No. Arnav's reaction was instant, almost wounded. That's not true. They want to expand trade routes in the north. We need support in the south. That's it. That's what we were discussing. Aarya held his gaze. So the king doesn't want his daughter to be your queen. He has never proposed that to me, he replied honestly. And even if he did, why would that matter now? I would never agree to it. Arnav's hand moved through her hair, softer now, slower. His thumb brushed against her cheek. I already have someone who steals every breath I take. Arnav cupped Arya's face and pressed a soft kiss to her forehead. Aarya, you silly girl, he murmured. You consume me so completely that I feel like I'm drowning. And I still don't want to be saved. Every second without you feels like torture. I want you by my side, always. I want to stand in front of everyone and call you mine. My soulmate. My queen. Really? Arya's voice broke. Arnav took her hand and placed it against his chest. His heart was racing. Will you marry me? He asked, his gaze unwavering, like her answer meant everything. Yes, Aarya whispered without hesitation. Arnav pulled her into an embrace and captured her lips in a kiss. Chapter 51. As the kiss deepened, Arnav's thumbs began tracing the curve of Arya's neck. Something in his touch had changed. It was no longer just tender. It carried a quiet urgency, something more possessive, more instinctive. His lips found the delicate skin near her collarbone, and Aarya let out a soft, unguarded sound that only seemed to encourage him further. His fingers moved to the laces at her back, quick, impatient. Each knot he loosened was followed by a kiss, deeper, more consuming, until her thoughts blurred and her breath came uneven. He was halfway through when awareness returned to Aarya. The library. Anyone could walk in. Aarya tried to pull back slightly. Arnav stilled for a fraction of a second, clearly displeased. Why? He murmured against her ear, his voice low, almost a protest. Arnav, she tried again, hoping to ground him, but he barely listened. His focus returned to the laces. We're in the library. Anyone can walk in, she said, more firmly this time. His hands didn't stop. Another knot loosened. Arnav, please, she pressed lightly against him. He finally followed her gaze toward the open doors. For a moment, she thought he would stop. She was wrong. Without another word, he stepped closer, positioning himself between her knees, and in one swift motion lifted her into his arms. The sudden movement drew a gasp from her lips, but he silenced it instantly with a kiss as he carried her out. By the time they reached his chambers, neither of them was thinking clearly anymore. He placed her gently on the bed before turning back to shut the doors. When he returned, he was already unbuttoning his shirt. Aarya watched him, unable to look away. She had seen him like this before, but something felt different now. The air itself seemed heavier, warmer. Her pulse raced, and she lowered her gaze, suddenly aware of everything and nothing at once. Arnav sat beside her and gently lifted her chin. His gaze met hers. Dark, intent, holding something he was no longer trying to hide. Aarya's breath hitched. His thumb brushed slowly across her lower lip, and the small gesture sent a quiet shiver through her. Aarya pressed a soft kiss against his thumb. Almost instinctively, that was all it took. The remaining distance between them vanished. This time, when he kissed her, it was deeper. At the same time, his fingers returned to the laces at her back, finding the last knot. He loosened it slowly, deliberately, as if he wanted to feel every second of it. The fabric gave way beneath his touch, and his hand followed, sliding over the newly bared skin, warm and certain, as though he intended to learn every inch of her. And then he paused, just enough to lean close to her ear. "Do I have your consent, my love?" The question, soft as it was, anchored everything. Arya's breath trembled. She felt the weight of the moment, the choice, the trust between them. "Yes," she whispered. What followed was not hurried, not reckless. It unfolded slowly, like something long restrained, finally finding its place. There was nervousness, yes, but also warmth, closeness, and a depth of feeling neither of them tried to resist anymore. When it was over, Arnav drew her into his arms, holding her close as if letting go was no longer an option. He buried his face in her hair, his breathing steadying. And somewhere between that quiet closeness and the fading warmth of the moment, sleep found them both. Thank you for listening. As the writer of this story, I have a question for you. What do you think fate has planned for Aarya and Arnav? Every choice has a consequence. Every secret has a cost. And every path leads to a new challenge waiting to be faced. Will they lift each other up or tear each other apart? The answers await in the next episode. If you're enjoying the story, please like, subscribe, and follow the channel so you never miss an episode. Your support helps this story reach more listeners, and it truly means the world to this writer. See you next time.